family issues, so you're stuck with me, but I appreciate the opportunity. So at this point, if those who are able would rise and remove our hats and follow me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a quick reminder, something Rick put in place last time. If you want to speak, please stand up, introduce yourself, first and last name, and where you live, please, what city you live in. All right? So, with that,
Okay, just say their first name and.
I don't know, let's just do it. Okay. I'm not sure what he instilled, however he wants to do it, but we'll go with that today.
It's your meeting, bud.
No, it's our meeting. So we did the pledge, consent agenda. Did everybody get a chance to look those over? And Sue? Motion to accept them.
I motion that we accept.
Who's second? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Again, this is gonna be a pretty short meeting, we don't have a lot of stuff. So let's start off with public comments on the agenda that's down below, and that would only be old business. So does anybody have any comments on old business? Sure.
Kelly in from Morton. I have a question about the process you guys use for giving out the grants. I understand there's an application that people have to fill out, is that correct? To apply for the lodging grants, they have to go through do they have to fill out an application?
Do we fill out an
No.
application?
Do the people who are asking for the grant, do they have to fill out an application for the grant, or do they just bring you a proposal?
The answer is yes.
Okay, and does that include entire countings of where all the money is going to be spent, in its entirety?
Well, I think Mr. Sawyer brought up, last time that there were a couple times before that we'd like to see where the money's gonna go.
They have to.
Okay.
They have to, and then you guys require an after accounting, like receipts and proof of where money is spent and all that?
Every year when they reapply, they have to give us a full list of what they spent the year before.
But they don't unless they have to apply, unless they apply again, or do they just have to anyway?
No, unless they apply again.
Okay, so there's no accounting after of that. Okay, so I just wanna suggest that maybe, there's a little bit more rigorous, loan applications and accounting afterwards. I went ahead and looked up Centralia and Chehalis and all that, and they are just wicked strict on that. And they require people to make proof. And my big concern would be, again, facing possible auditing issues without being able to prove where they went, because there's such a specific rule as to how they can be spent. And if we're not making that person prove how you're gonna spend it and how you did spend it, then if the audit man from the state comes back, cause I did contact the people in that, and they said if it was audited, it would be a state audit. If the tax man comes back and goes, how did it get spent, and we got nothing on paper, I think that's opening us up to a lot of problems. And I also feel like there's no real way of, most of the places everywhere that I checked do an open enrollment where they have a specific period of time. Okay, for, February 1st to February 30th, you can apply for these grants. Gives everybody a fair chance and maybe a good spread, maybe a bigger spread of the funds. Everybody has a fair chance.
Tourism dollars?
I'm sorry?
Which grants are specifically?
Yeah, the tax lodging dollars, the tourism dollars.
Well, every year, as we go through these meetings, as I recall, the last couple of years, we have in fact told people have come in and asked for money, and we've repeated several times that you need to come previous, like everybody did with their requests.
Right, but what they did was they did like a specific enrollment period where you had until this date to turn it in. And then once everything was turned in, then everything was reviewed, everybody that was actually eligible that applied. I mean, they're even requesting people prove that they're still a 501(c)(3) for the government. Then the discussion is open about what the proposal is. Everybody has all the facts first instead of what has been happening, which is a lot of arguing about things that weren't even like set in stone how they do it yet. It'll save time, and it's very transparent, shows where all the money went, that there's no improprieties, and we're not facing another audit
Well, there's
issue.
two issues. One would be the audit after the fact, and the other would be the enrollment process.
Yeah,
100%? Okay.
yeah, so that it's really cut and dry, and everybody has to follow the same process, the same application, and at the end, they all have to go, yeah, this is what we did. And then it shows everybody where the money went.
Let me ask Luann real quick. Do we have a specific enrollment period, or is it just?
We haven't, cause we think sometimes some opportunity might come up in, say, April, and say, somebody might come to us and say, hey, we wanna do a car show, we just found out we can do it, and want some extra money, so we've always allowed that to be open.
But again, that money's not distributed until the new budget, we'll get to it, we'll get to it.
Well, it depends on if you give away everything you have right now, or you hold some back.
Okay. Which is a concern I have, about having a little bit extra. But I think it makes a good point about what happens to it afterwards. I mean, we all have TV, right?
Yeah.
I have daycare in Somalia, no offense to those nice folks, but the dollars are missing somewhere. Huh?
It just seems a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a little bit more concerned about our reputation, I mean.
Sure,
you look at-
absolutely,
You look us up, it's not a pretty sight, it's not a pretty view. And having people just asking for an open 20 grand checkbook doesn't make it any prettier, I don't think. And I think that it's important that everybody takes a good look at where the money is being spent, so nobody has any interpretation of it being foul again.
Yeah, I think that's pretty basic.
Yeah, they all do it. I looked up so many different cities and none of them were lax about it. They were all really, really hardcore. And they all specifically were stating, you know, we have rules we have to follow, so pass that on, that kind of thing, yeah.
All right,
All right, thank you, sir.
appreciate it. Brenda, anybody else?
I also know, sorry if I may, Denise, I live here in Morton. I do know that in Pierce County, they, distribute all of their tourism tax dollars with a board that is made up of tourism stakeholders, so people that work in tourism, and, you know, that's, you know, that's millions of dollars, right? Cause that includes Tacoma and things like that, so it is a larger scale, but it is kind of run by a board of, you know, people who are involved in tourism, marketing, there's all kinds of different people, so it's not necessarily like a government thing, there's a board that's appointed to help kind of pass those out, people who understand like tourism data, things like that, so. Just another
Thank you.
input.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
I'm Donna, I work for City Hall here in Morton. On number 4, the disbursement of tourism dollars, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Historical Society. I've heard the arguments, I've heard the debates, but I just wanted to point out, as the first person at Morton City Hall to answer the phone, I get many, many calls from people out of town. They want a virtual tour, they wanna ask a lot of questions, and quite honestly, I can't answer them because I sit behind a desk all day. It's the Historical Society, as the official visitor center of Morton, that I refer all these people to. Their phone number is right on my corkboard next to my phone. These are the people, you know, they're the warm, fuzzy, welcoming committee. They're the ones that are gonna tell the tourists where to eat, you know, what kind of food they can get, about our parks. These are questions that we don't have time to answer in City Hall. So I just wanna make sure that everybody understands how important the Historical Society is to this city and to our local businesses. And not to mention, the most important thing that they offer is public facilities. City Hall does not have a public restroom, and anybody who comes in there, I tell them to go over to the Historical Visitor Center. So, just putting a plug in for them.
Okay, very good.
I thought they had to close the bathrooms due to financial. No?
They're not 24/7, but they have one.
Anybody else? All right, Mackenzie?
Yeah, John Bunyan. So I'm wondering, as far as Donna said, the sentiment is, I thought the argument was more, we want some information of what the highway's going for. So I think that's the biggest thing.
We have that now, yeah.
So, as far as the agenda, I see it says the Pledge of Allegiance, but I guess we can talk about that. I figured that was gonna be on the agenda this week also. The dispute between this mayor. Okay, well, I just have something to say about that. And I am gonna read it, I know it offends a lot of people, but since we get to talk about the Pledge of Allegiance, that's part of the
Well, wait, a
agenda.
minute, let's stop, that's not on the agenda, so if you wanna talk about it, wait, save your 3 minutes at the end.
Oh, it says right there, pledge of the.
So the pledge of allegiance is now, below that it says consent agenda, that's where the agenda starts.
Yeah.
The pledge is,
I was
we
gonna
say
open
it's
it up,
to
but I
start
was
the
a little
meeting.
confused,
That's
cause I
fine,
see it right there, number
let's just
one.
save that for the end of the meeting, you public participation.
Okay, we'll do that.
Okay. Anybody else, Rhonda?
My name is Rhonda, and I'm with the, East Louis County Chamber of Commerce. And please, I have cancer, so sometimes I have a little trouble speaking, so I'm gonna read this to you guys, please forgive me. The Chamber of Commerce wishes to formally announce the withdrawal of our grant application. This decision was made after careful consideration. As the city of Morton lacks insufficient funds to help a lot of our agencies, the Chamber of Commerce wishes to withdraw our grant request. We hope that by pulling away, this will enable our other foundations to obtain the grants they desperately need. While concerns have been raised about past chamber incidents, we assure the community that our staff is committed to serving the public, and most of these events happened years ago. Despite withdrawing the grant application, we remain committed to organizing the community picnic, so we still want that to go on. We will continue with plans for the event and request the city's assistance with logistical needs such as trash collection, for example. Community members who wish to contribute to the event are encouraged to donate, whether it's $5, $10, anything that will help. Every bit of support is greatly appreciated. We want to bring something fun back to our community. Everyone who helps to contribute to this event will be acknowledged. The grant was twofold. We are holding 2 events this year. Questions have arisen regarding the impact of tourism on Morton, especially with the Sasquatch Festival scheduled to take place in Randall. We anticipate attendance of approximately 2,000 to 3,000 or more people per day at the festival. We have the host of the TV show Finding Bigfoot, which shows on Animal Planet and Discovery Channel. Matt Moneymaker is helping us with the festival, and we anticipate this will become the largest annual festival surrounding Bigfoot in the United States. Whether you're a believer or a skeptic, we have a lot of amazing things coming to this festival that we are excited about. And our festival already has vendors coming from as far away as Tennessee. Matt Moneymaker is the president of the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, one of the largest research groups in the world. BFRO will be the host of our event, and we have many amazing researchers present. We are one of the hot spots for Sasquatch sighting. We have speakers coming from all over the US and Canada, and possibly even one from Europe. We will have many things that have never been done before. While we cannot say what they are just yet, please be assured that these demonstrations will have people return next year for more. Visitors to our festival require lodging, dine at local restaurants and bars, purchase fuel, groceries, and utilize local banks, thereby stimulating our economy. We will also place strong emphasis on promoting businesses throughout the East Louis County that our attendees can visit while they're here. We're going to give free spaces for our nonprofits, and we're going to give our local people first choice to get into the event. The Chamber wants to resume responsibility for returning the flowers to Morton. As I am a grant writer, there are multiple grants that are available to keep the flowers attractive and support community beautification without creating a burden to our community. We also want to revive the Christmas in the Park initiative, which I understand was previously managed by the Chamber. We are committed to the community and ask for your support in making these projects a success. Let's set aside our differences and focus on moving forward together. As a fellow business member, I understand the importance of tourism for local businesses. Although some residents may discourage tourism, we chose to settle here because of Morton's peaceful and scenic environment and history. Our businesses are facing challenges and they need our help to survive. It is important to remember that some of our visitors are not here to damage our community. In fact, disruptive behavior is already an internal issue. With financial challenges impacting local businesses, we should focus on unity and forging stronger connections. While we cannot change the past, we can come together for a better future. We have the opportunity to restore Morton's downtown to its former beauty as seen in the many other historical photographs that we've seen posted on various media sites in the museum. My husband and I value history. Our business is steeped in history, and many say it's like walking into a mini museum. We love the history that Morton and surrounding areas have, and that should be emphasized. Morton is and can be a place where visitors want to stop and shop our businesses. We are part of the Mini Cooper group that comes in for the parade, and our group loves giving candy and toys to the children. Some of our members drive 3 to 5 hours to attend your parade. While we're here, we eat at your restaurants, purchase gas, etc. Not all visitors negatively impact the area. We kindly request a renewed opportunity for the Chamber to show our dedication and help make Morton and surrounding areas a better place to live. There is a grant available. It's called the Hometown Grant. If you guys don't have a grant writer, I'll write it. You guys can sign it, and it's a $50,000 grant. So we can make that happen, and that would provide flowers for downtown and other things. So I'll leave this for you guys.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Yay.
I might just say
Awesome.
that
Thank you.
I had a meeting with Pamela, the outgoing, president, and Ron, the incoming last week. Just wanted to have a cup of coffee and visit and talk about, what we're facing as far as money in this town and what they're asking for. And maybe the disconnect a little bit between the East Louis County, when it used to be the Morton County, City County, or, Chamber of Commerce, and this disconnect that happened. And I gotta tell you how pleasantly surprised I was, you know, instead of, we've gotta have that money, it's just like, real quiet. I understand, and I appreciate that, Jeff. We'd like to earn your trust back. We're gonna come out with a handout, not a handout. We're not looking for, we're gonna withdraw for the money, but we wanna spend the next year supporting some city things. The parade, I'm all about getting like it used to be downtown, to drive around through the park over here with all the little displays and all that, so, I'd like to thank you because it was a good meeting, it was very positive.
We're here for the community, so
Well, I
we
appreciate
give
that.
that a chance.
Thank you.
And thank you as well
You're welcome.
for your meeting with us.
No problem. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanna talk about the.
I'm sorry, what was your name? Your name?
I don't wanna talk about that.
Okay, then you can't speak.
Not really.
That's the rule that we made, the mayor made at the last meeting. You have to identify yourself and where you live. Is it, well,
I'm a resident.
Corey or Manners maybe?
Resident.
Okay.
I mean, he's this is decorum.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotta say his name, he's gotta,
That's fine. I mean, that's what the mayor asked us to do in the meeting, so I'm just following through with what he asked.
I think that's a good call.
I don't know if it is or isn't, but,
Well, that's decorum, it's actually supposed to happen,
I mean, that is part of Robert's Rules of Order, you're supposed to identify yourself. I'm Jeff,
I said
and
I'm
you
a
are?
resident of the city.
Okay, your name is?
I'm a resident of the city.
Okay, Mr. Resident?
The council issued cell phones. I don't know what that stands for.
Point of order.
Point of order, yeah, point of order.
Point of order. This needs to stop, it's disruptive.
Right.
If he's not going to adhere to the rules, he
I'm not
should
being
sit down,
disruptive, I'm
or he should be removed. That's
So
a
you-
point of order.
There you go. There are your options from all of us.
Over 1 million.
I've said my name in this.
I know that.
How about your first name?
All right, if you can't cooperate and you don't want to either sit down, then please leave.
My name's Jordan.
Okay, Jordan, thank you very much, I appreciate that.
You guys don't have any right to that though. But
Okay.
council issued cell phones. That was brought up in the last meeting. I'm glad that you think it's funny. So
Yeah.
I don't know
Go
where
ahead.
it stands.
I mean, you have the right to
We're all
speak.
talking about the budget here and how
Sure.
little money we have to spend, and you guys are talking about the council issued cell phones for all of you. I don't remember what the price was that you guys said that was gonna run. I know it was $2,000 per year annually. We're all talking about being in a budget deficit here and how we need money. And he's saying that these cell phones that you guys wanna have issued are for transparency, for FOIA requests and things like that. That doesn't exclude your private cell phones if you use them for anything that we can FOIA request. All you're doing is putting a barrier between the citizens and yourselves as to the difficulty level of us actually giving you those things. And you're gonna cost us money while you do that. I don't think that's correct.
So I get your point on that.
Are you done? I mean, okay, okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think what you're saying makes sense. Yeah, we wanna save the city money, but at the same time, I don't think the focus that I had on that was so much on just cell phones. It was having all of our types of communications be in a system where they can't be deleted or changed or altered.
It can't be deleted or changed or altered anyway. It's against the law if you guys do any of that stuff.
But the systems don't have policies set up, so that can't happen.
Right, and that would be where you broke the law if you do something like that.
Well, yeah, but how would you prove it if you don't have a system that catches it? I mean, I think that's what this issue is right now, is there's no data, we don't have any information on previous times, and that's why people don't have a lot of faith in
Hang
the
on.
system.
Point of order. If you're done, you're done. If you wanna, I mean, well, I understand that, that's not how it's really supposed to work. You get your turn, he gets his. Now it's your turn, young lady.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Amanda, I'm a resident of Morton. I'm also an employee of the school district, and we are also subject to FOIA requests, pretty consistently. We are issued computers and a Google suite of, communication products. We're also heavily encouraged, and policy is about to change, to be required to communicate with parents on official school business only on either our school issued email or an app called Rooms that the district has the backed up data for. And that's because, and we've been extremely, the district has been extremely clear with us that we are not to communicate as employees via Facebook or other things, because including messenger, text message, because if somebody were to say that we said something, Apple, Meta, none of those companies are required to give over the data if we lose it in some way. So one thing I'll say is I think it's extremely responsible to move toward council issued communication devices, so that not only to protect the citizens, but also to protect the council members and the staff of the city from being, having their information and their communications lost or altered in some way. The second thing I'll say is that one thing about budgets that I think is difficult for a lot of people to understand, and was difficult for me to understand when I was on city council for 4 years, is that the general fund is not the only pot of money that exists, and tourism dollars are their own bucket, general fund is its own bucket, operations and facilities is its own bucket. And so we can talk about being financially strapped in certain areas, and that doesn't mean that we are not able to spend money in other buckets for other tasks. It doesn't mean that we can't issue raises to employees. It doesn't mean that we can't spend money on certain projects. And I think, I'm not sure how this would work, but I wanted this when I was on council, and I think it would be appropriate now to.
Were you on council here?
Yes, I was for 4 years. I think that if the community is willing, I think a full budget hearing, public comment period, where there's like some workshops about how city budgets actually work. I think it's kind of intentionally, not by you, but just like the system is intentionally really difficult for people to access, and it's really hard for people to understand how much. Everybody likes to complain about how much our taxes are going up, and where our tax dollars go and what they're allowed to be spent on is really unclear, and that's from the state, county, and city. So I'm not trying to organize it, but I think it would be valuable if we, I think it would be valuable if we could work maybe with some of the other local jurisdictions as well to host some type of learning opportunity about what city budgets look like, how city budgets are arrived at, and where our revenues are coming from. It's not something that I think a lot of people understand, and I think if we understood it more, I think we would have better questions to ask, and we would be able to hold council accountable more effectively.
One second. The classes that we take, MRSC, those are all anyway, correct? Okay, so one thing I might suggest, for me it's easy because I used to own a bunch of car dealerships, so financial statements and budgets and stuff are easy. I understand if it's not, I was never gonna be an accountant, I'll tell you that for sure. But there's a resource available to all of us called MRSC, I believe, right? And we can post that information, and it has a whole series of classes on budgets and how they work, and there's an open availability of questions to ask people that have answers better than I would. And we can make that available as a starting block. But I think what you're saying is important, and wanting to know that, wanting to know how things work is the first part of it.
Well, and I think especially because, may I say one more?
Sure.
Especially because and I think it's challenging because, you know, the federal government operates on a deficit always. The state is not allowed to do that. The city is not allowed to do that. So I think it can be confusing for people when the budget is due, like when the council needs to review the budget in December and prepare it for January, I think, and when we hear about government shutdowns happening, I think there's just a lot of communication that gets very confused in people's minds. And I think, again, having sat on the council, I take, you know, responsibility for part of the council's role in communication with the citizens, but I think it is incumbent upon the council to be as transparent as possible, and that includes being as, like, legible as possible, and not gatekeeping the secrets of, like, how do we
Can we
arrive at
separate
this
this
special
into
sauce.
the cell phone issue and the budget issue? We're talking about, you're linking them together, I guess, correct?
Well,
So we
I'm
have
linking
one-
them together because the previous comment seemed to imply that it's an irresponsible expense, given our other budgetary.
Expense is.
Hey, wait your turn. Please.
So I do think they are two separate issues. The reason that I linked them is because I think part of the reason why people bristle at certain costs that they see appear in the paper is because of a lack of understanding about the way the budget works.
And problem granted, but
Possibly.
the problem, just for me, as I foresee as a new council person, I can't tell you where money actually would come from. I just foresee that the budget was voted on by the previous people for this year. And as you're like, as an example, looking at our tourism dollars, $46,000 request and $30,000 available. There's always more hands out than available. Just to answer some of this, I met with Jason last week, and we talked for a little while. Jason was pretty involved, and very tech savvy, where, you know, I'm somebody's grandpa who gives everything to their kids to put it together, because I don't want to read instructions or put it together. But he opened my eyes to some things, about some alternatives that we might, because we're here with economies of scale, we only have what we have. And I can't tell you whether it is or isn't more. But there are some alternatives to cell phones that we talked about, started to talk about. And I don't know if this is legitimate for me to make a motion. Regarding this,
I don't think the chair can make a motion.
well, that's asking,
No, nope.
okay,
Yeah, the
I don't
chair
know.
can make a motion.
Okay,
Not while you're.
Also, it's still public.
okay, not in the comment section?
No.
Yeah. They're all valid points, and I appreciate you bringing them up. And I think there's an improvement to be had there. And we're working on it, meeting on the side a little bit, talking about it, seeing what we can work out to turn $10 into $1,000, I guess. So, thank you.
You saw me
I
coming.
saw you.
Yeah.
Bert, go ahead, that's fine.
And I just wanted to piggyback off of that, and I think that the transparency issue, I think, is very important. And I'd also like to add that, you know, I was here, I haven't been able to attend for a few months, I was traveling and things, but I don't think anyone ever was saying that the Historical Society didn't deserve to get any money. That's certainly not the point that I was trying to make when I was here a few months ago, right? What I was asking for and voicing was for transparency, right? So this issue's coming up again, even this gentleman, you know, it's coming up again, right? This issue of transparency. And I think that that's what's really important, is having not only transparency, but also data, so that people are able to make decisions based on data rather than based on emotion, right? So we're here and we can see, the Historical Society is great, I have no problem with it, but let's get some numbers, right? So we can move forward and say, what is the city's ROI when it comes to where we're putting our money, right? We put in this bucket, we get this much money back. We put in this bucket, okay, we get more money back. We put in this bucket, we get less money back. So then we can make decisions moving forward about which bucket gives us more money back. And that's how you grow, right? You need to grow in that way. So I would just like to say, on a personal level, I did not intend to ever like attack anyone or make anybody feel like bad, obviously, that's not my goal, but like, I just think that, you know, this issue keeps coming up where we're talking about transparency. I do think, you know, if that's what the cell phones are going to provide, I'd like to point out the irony of him not wanting to give out his name, but expecting you to give out your cell phone number. So just a little bit of irony there, that I don't think was lost on anyone, but I just think that's what people need, and I think right now it's more important than ever to just, you know, have trust and transparency and be able to make data-driven decisions, not emotional ones.
Thank you. You have something else?
So, it wasn't mostly about the cost, it's about an issue of transparency. Regardless of whether it's cell phones or some other version of communication that you guys use, essentially what that does is obfuscates the public view from where you guys are communicating. There's nothing preventing you from using a private cell phone to make communication between somebody else who's on the council or some other figure who may have some sort of influence that we may not know to try and find. There are other state entities in Washington currently going through review for exactly these things like the WDFW, for example. So what you're doing is, yes, costing our city money, regardless of where it comes from, it's money that it's gonna be cost, as well as you're creating a barrier that we have to then try and find some way to look around. If we intend to look into something, you could easily say, oh, well, this is the area that you go to look for stuff. Meanwhile, we're doing things over here, and what you're doing is giving yourselves this place to have people look.
I think we're all saying the same thing here, is more transparency, less shiftiness, and being more open with our citizens, right? I mean, that's what everyone's saying. Like, maybe the move here would be to have a town hall meeting where people could voice their ideas, because it seems like everyone has a different idea of what transparency looks like. So maybe that would be a starting point. You know, once we've got that, whoever's on the committee of public safety can take that on, and then, or you know, any of us council members or mayor can have a town hall about this and get the feedback, because we're not all seeing this from the same perspective here. I think we all want the same goal.
Correct. Okay, so real quick, Lynn?
There's just something that, just to kind of put out there too, just so everybody kind of knows. I know transparency is a big thing, and believe me, we are working on it as hard as we can. It's a lot to scrape off our shoes. One of the things I do want everybody to know though is, with the emails, because of the server system that we go through, each council member has their own private email with their own password. However, it does go through Tiger Mountain in the system. So council member 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any of them can go in there and delete whatever they want. It doesn't go away.
Right.
It is still maintained, so down 6 months, a year down the road, we can go get that and say, if we get a PDR for something, and then we can look on their, you know, their computer or whatever, their email and say, they can say, well, no, I never got that. Well, yeah, here you did, it's right there. So the email makes me feel a little bit more comfortable, just because I'm the one that does all the PDRs and I know how hard it is to retract information and get it. So, that just makes me feel a little more comfortable with email communication.
I will say that I've noticed that there were emails that I did not read that were marked as read. And so there is, and I talked to the guys at Tiger Mountain about that, and I just didn't understand why this big list of things that I don't read because it's spam was read. And so I said, well, let's just change the password and all that stuff. So it's interesting though that should a situation arise, you're like, well, I didn't get that email. Well, it says that you read that email, but I never read that email, or something like that. This, I think, kind of harkens back to this whole security / thing that you have more knowledge about, right? And what is secure or what's not secure.
And when you're saying that you could use a personal phone, you're right, you could use a personal phone, but if you have policy set up on the account, when you connect that device, it takes record of that, so it knows, like, I can see where things are being taken to, and when it comes to data, and if it's been removed, and, yeah.
All right, young lady?
I'm Megan, I live in Morton, and I just wanted to comment that the Washington Supreme Court confirmed that records on private phones can be subject to disclosure. So MRSC, says that it's safer for city officials to use city-issued devices for work, because you're already subject to your personal phones, so it's advised that they're city-issued phones.
I saw that when I went through my early training. Richard?
Yeah, so Richard, board resident, absolutely, absolutely. I think that it's not the idea that, that we need more transparency. I think the message is the incentive is that we need to have less doors that go to rooms that we can take and talk in, you know, i.e. personal phones or government issue phones or whatever, where we have the possibility that we can take and be, communicating in a way that's not transparent. Just having a device and you're in, that's what you need. That works just fine for taking and tracking your conversation. It goes to the server, it stays there, if you delete it, it defaults. So, I mean, it's pretty bulletproof, that works fine.
All right.
I may step on some toes, but have you guys gone into the Historic Society and see what they need to operate what they're providing to you guys? Have you guys been into the chamber? We have meetings once a month. The Historic Society has meetings once a month. It's not like we're asking a huge obligation of anybody, but it takes an army to do some of these things, and it is very costly today to run these facilities for our public. So I hope that you guys could, you know, but donate an hour of your time, you know, but all of these, we need your help, and it doesn't take much to do this. So, but then you would better understand of how the structures work and how much money it actually takes to run these facilities.
Yeah.
All right, comments are over, I'd like to move on to the meeting.
Sorry.
I'm good.
Good, thanks.
Everyone speaks very
We've got old business. ELC chamber request for potluck.
That's basically, someone needs to make a motion, if you're not gonna ask for that, right? That's correct?
They're not gonna ask for the money.
We're not asking for the money, however,
wanna have
we
a
are
party.
still holding the event, the picnic for community of the. Yes, sir.
You've got dates,
No, you're not.
One only.
Okay, potential dates, June 27th or July 4th?
We're gonna shoot for July 4th.
You're gonna shoot for July 4th. Something that was brought up was, that's January. Insurance, you've got insurance?
We cover that, we have an insurance rider for the event. We are also including, the old Lions building for parking.
Ooh.
And we will put his name on there as part of the, insurance policy, so that we have enough parking for everyone to be provided for the event.
So you've gotten a copy of what you're required.
I met with Luann and got her information of what we would need in order to be in compliance.
Okay. Somebody's gonna.
You disappeared.
I'll go with Miranda's decision.
You cannot make a decision, sir.
She said, somebody's gotta make a motion.
Maria did.
Okay, everybody.
Do we have any questions about, the event or anything, or is it solid gold?
Well, we don't. Right now, this is just simply about their request for potluck, so.
At Jubilee Park.
have.
And they have the
On
insurance.
July 4th.
Yeah.
July 4th. Or the
We're
22nd.
pretty much covered, we just asked if anybody wants to make a donation.
I think your partner, Nick, was pretty excited about doing it on the 4th.
Yeah, we'll go back and there was a question
Ed
on
was
whether the
excited
date
about
was
that.
because of Roxy Theater and then the historical society, but I think we have all that worked out.
Okay, so,
Motion's on the table.
I'll second. Yeah.
You've got a
All in
motion
favor?
and a second.
Aye. I vote, you don't vote either.
No, no. You're the chair, so you get to.
I vote.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm pro temp, so she's got two different answers, so. I'll just say there's mine.
Can't make a motion. Alright, so did we get all the ayes and nays, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Ed Smith's not here. Council issue cell phones. What's that? I'm not.
I think you guys are wrapping it together, right? You're wrapping Ed's thing
Yes,
into yours.
yes,
Yeah, yeah,
but he's not here, so.
Right.
We moved on. Now the question is, what is?
That's what I'm told.
They're
Hang on.
piggybacking on each other.
Right.
So it's combined.
It'll be like a two-fold, yeah, they'll.
Yeah.
So, you have our blessing.
Thank you. It's exciting
Can't
to
do that.
bring our community together in a positive
Can't do
way.
All right, issue council cell phones.
Yes. Here we are again.
Here we are again. They need more than. Right where I need to be.
It's been tabled once, but you can ask.
I
Okay,
make a
Maria.
motion that we just don't move forward with cell phones at this time.
Yeah, I'd like to table, yeah.
Table's different.
There's, you can only have one motion.
She made a motion to, you can't table it, unless it's after her second.
There
nobody
is-
seconds it.
I mean, realistically, budget's done. We don't have the money. Somebody wants to get a grant, that's one thing, but I, again, personally, don't want to hold another thing in my purse. I have email, very good at communicating via email. I do it for a job. Somebody would like to email me, council2@morton.com.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second it.
You second it? All those in favor? Aye. Wait, you good? Are you two in favor?
Yeah, A or nay, I think.
I didn't hear you guys, I'm sorry.
I don't think we said aye. No, we didn't say
Who
aye.
is in favor of
Okay,
the motion?
Abstaining or nay?
Well, there was no ask for a
so,
nay.
Well, there was.
Yeah,
There was
you
an after
did.
vote. And they voted.
I vote nay, but that's
Okay, there's a
okay.
nay? Nay.
Um,
and you, they already, she first and second,
So I have to
so you have
vote.
to vote. Yeah, you
Okay,
can
so
vote.
I say yay. And I'll just tell you what I think. I think that our conversations are on the right track. I just don't see them, from what I've discussed with Lynn and Rick, I don't see the budget. I see a need there. I think it's something we really need to put in the budget for next year, unless we can find a more cost-efficient way to do it for this year. We talked about the email and talking to Tiger, and I like the community again, because I think it's very valid.
Is this a dead issue or?
It's a dead issue.
Okay, then I think we should move on,
Alright.
because I got the budget here if we wanna keep talking about it. I can tell you how much money goes to what and
We know.
how it all goes, but if it's a dead issue, it's a dead issue.
It's a dead issue.
Alright, it's a dead issue.
Okay, so, the next one is distribution of tourism dollars. Open for discussion amongst the council. Obviously, what we ask and the get have changed radically since you've retracted the request for anything. It's even more generous than what we talked about, so. Let's go from.
So, did everyone get to look at, the lodging tax request for, the Historical Society?
I emailed them to everybody on the 5th of February, all the backup from every single person, like 40 pages altogether.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm just
Wait,
asking
for the-
for the Historical Society.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, they did it a little different this year, which I'm not sure is, how it's actually supposed to be done, but in previous years, every single other person has done the lodging tax request, and they've, given us all this information, and they talked about where the money's going, and, how it's being spent, where it's basically all being distributed to, $800 per sales, things like that. Here we go, breakdown of 2023 expenses for the Historical Society. Super clear, payroll, blah, 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 blah. And I think that year they asked for $17,000. And so, there's a process, right? If I'm correct? And can you describe to me the process, not just, delivering the information, but, presenting the information?
They fill out that top form that you have there, then they fill out there's another form there, it's a Lewis County tax statement that shows where the money went the previous year. Those are the requirements.
And they don't have to come and present at all? There's no presentation?
They usually do come and do a presentation.
I guess what I'm asking
Is
is.
there a policy?
No, they don't have to do a presentation. I mean, if you wanna sell yourself, that's the best way to do it. And I don't think I've had anybody not do a presentation, other than Jubilee, who asked, just says we need it for DOT.
As long as everyone looked at it, and they saw where the money was going and coming from, then it's not really up to me, but I think they can make a decision on it, right? So.
Can I know I'm not on council, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
What about
Who are you?
receipts?
What do you
Oh,
mean?
sorry, Tessa Boyer from Morton,
Okay.
born and raised. Do these businesses or whoever's requesting these grants, do they have to show receipts of like actually that they can't just say, well, we spent it on this, and this?
We addressed this just a little bit earlier. At this point, we don't have that, we haven't had that, and that's something that's been brought up, whether we have that.
Okay, I didn't hear receipts.
Yeah, no, but
brought
they
up.
don't have to give us any accounting if they don't apply again. Right, when they
Oh,
apply
that
again, they give us
explains
an
a lot.
accounting, we
Okay.
look at it, and it was brought up that we might wanna look deeper into that. So-
Yeah, I hope you guys
Yeah, I'd
do.
like to make a motion. to
Please.
change that.
That's wild.
Well, we gotta finish it. We gotta put on new business.
Yeah.
So that, it makes sense. But you need to think about it right now, put new business proposal. Okay, right? Okay. So,
Housekeeping and I have to provide receipts.
there's been a big change, obviously, you can scratch that out, put $15,000 back in the till. How do we feel about this?
So
You come
I'm
up with an
gonna
idea of
make a quick
distribution?
motion for parliamentary inquiry.
Okay,
So, yeah, I think, we should debate this, or not necessarily debate this, but we should, consider the procedure a little bit further. Just for clarification, so we can understand the business at hand here. And so when you make a parliamentary inquiry, it's not really a debate or anything, it's not amendable, but it basically is a different from a point of information where we just talk, we ask about the procedure
Right.
that we're going with right now. Because right now, the procedure is what's in question.
So
At least by one of our council people, so I think we should get clarity on it.
okay. So we have two, the issue is you want, an explanation of the process better, and the reality is, they've already, how am I gonna put this?
Do we table it for tonight? It's already almost 9 o'clock.
You scared?
All right, hey, point of order. Point of order.
I'd like to know that the money's being spent on what they're.
Hilarious. You made a motion, so I'm asking what that motion is specifically asking.
Yeah, and so, a motion for a parliamentary inquiry, is used to ask a question about the procedure.
Okay.
It's not a debate, right, so, and it's not really about opinion, right?
You need to have a resolution or ordinance that adopts a new procedure for this in the future. We can't go backwards. If you wanna set that and you want my office to draft it and exactly what you guys do, we're happy to do that. We're more than willing to do that. But for what we have right now, table it is probably what it's going to be.
And I think that was, we've been tabled before, and I don't know if does that cut the mustard for you? Do you wanna table it? Cause it sounds
I
like.
mean, I'd like to know the processes, yeah.
Let me ask something, so, I mean, the reason they're not here giving a presentation is why?
Cause they already did it in November.
Right, that was their presentation then, okay. That was before they turned all that packet in though, right?
Yeah, but they had to pack it in the next day, yeah.
Okay,
The gal they had was new and didn't realize how much she needed to send in with the presentation.
okay. So what do you guys look?
But Dan's been doing this for how long? Many years, if I'm correct. This is not a court case, ma'am.
Well, we're kind of the point where we,
It's not about
I
Dan,
think that's more than
realistically.
No, it's absolutely not.
How many,
we've got
No,
4 people
it's
here
not.
that have
It's
been
never been
trying,
about Dan.
hang on a second, we got 4 entities here that have been trying to get the tourism dollars up and started presenting this back in November. I can't see why we can't conclude. And then we wanna go forward into the processes and everything for next year, it's kinda like the budget, it's for next year, it's not gonna really affect this year. It's already been decided, so the question is how we wanna distribute the money. And if you don't wanna distribute the money and you vote to table it again, that's fine too. But we can't, the process and this are probably 2 different things, in my humble opinion.
So I wrote some things down, with the $30,000 that we have, hold back $5,000 and spend.
Well, hang on a second, I'll use my man.
Okay.
Sawyer, Councilman Sawyer.
Yep.
Made a motion.
Okay.
To table it?
No. Repeat your motion, will you please?
This is a motion for parliamentary inquiry.
He can't make that kind of a motion. He has to either table it
Okay,
or
so,
vote on it.
Then I make a motion that, we table this for now, and this is not really how this is supposed to go, right, because this is more of a point of information, but this is fine, let's continue. I'm gonna make a motion that we table it,
there's a second.
and do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
No?
Did you second it? Someone else? Did you
Maria
second
seconded it, He-
Maria seconded it?
so, are you yea or nay?
I made the motion.
Okay, so yeah, I make a motion.
Yeah.
You didn't hear it.
Usually when I make a motion,
Right.
it's usually, yeah, unless it's disagreement.
She seconded it.
All in favor, I think is where we are, fellas.
Yeah, you need to say all in favor.
Okay, all in favor? I did that.
Okay, then,
So, we're
Yes or
back
no?
to 2 again?
I don't know, I didn't hear what Jason said.
Yeah, I want to.
So you said yes.
No.
Yeah?
I'd like to see this be over with. And move forward in the process for next year.
So you saying yes?
I want to.
Yeah, we've got quorum, so.
But can I give a point? Can I give what I want
Hang on a
to say?
second, what's the
Yes,
vote?
you can. Huh?
We've got, what's the vote?
Why can't he give a point? It's here.
Well, you actually have 3, cause Sawyer, Marie seconded, and Jason said yes, so you actually are tabling it, cause you got.
Okay. Alright, there we go. We'll table. You did have a comment you wanted to make?
It's too late. So,
Make a comment about it.
no, we're good, we're tabling it, so.
The only time we can talk is when we're together. Okay. If that's everything, then, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Public participation.
What's that? Oh, participation.
You got it.
I went so long, I thought we had it.
You don't have to.
That's okay. Anybody wish to have, say something, Mr. McKenzie, where are you? There we go.
There we go. It's the Mackenzie show.
Yeah.
It's always good when he's on the cast.
We can't talk right now, we can talk, but we can't talk separately. I think you can talk to one other person.
One other person.
Right. So I'm wondering what happened when the vote came up for the pro tem mayor situation. And so I'll start that one out with this. Sawyer speaks for many of us, and I'll speak for him. 2 years on the council, a lot of experience. He's endured a lot of criticism and abuse from the community, mostly the last 3 meetings of the ex-mayor. I believe that he's done more for this community in the last 2 years, being on the council as a former mayor did in 4 years or that continue?
Yeah.
Okay, so what took place in the last couple of meetings with Dan Morton sitting in here attacking sort of like that should never been allowed. Just like you were on this gentleman back here. Okay, so that's one subject.
Agreed.
And then the situation where the money, it's always talking about money and keeping everything out front, and where's all this money coming from? I have a question where the over $600,000 for the police department is going. When everybody in town's complaining about lack of police protection, and we can't afford to buy a couple cell phones with over $600,000 in the budget for the police department. Seems to be an issue there that needs to be looked at. Just one other thing. Back to the voting for the mayor, pro mayor.
Pro tem.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how everybody that's new on the council came up with the decision to vote a new council member in, being you, over a council member that's been doing diligent work for the city for 2 years.
You have to ask them.
And is totally, I'm just gonna make a comment,
Okay.
and is totally committed to everything that citizens of our town wants. So I'm wondering where the council come up with that vote, not to vote Sawyer in as pro tem. Was there more meetings going on other than at the council meetings to talk about who was going to be pro tem? That's a question.
Who you got, you asking?
Anybody wants to reply?
He's just commenting, that's it.
Right. Okay.
Just a few things I'd like you guys to open your eyes up. Most of that budget is police department.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, my name is Sarah, I live in Morton. I kinda wanted to call out a problem that I keep seeing, just with how meetings go, is there are a lot of residents who want to come to these meetings, but for whatever physical reason, work, kids, health, mobility, they can't show up. You know, and currently, you know, we have a private citizen recording and uploading, which is cool, but it's not, you know, that's a responsibility I think should fall to the city and not a private citizen. And there's neighboring towns in our community that are doing really successful already, like Toledo just films them and puts them on their YouTube page so anyone can have access. I'm just speaking up because I want to make sure all citizens have access to these meetings, even if they physically can't be here. I think it's important for them to all have access to that transparency and accessibility of information. So I just want to ask when we can expect the city will start recording and uploading recordings of these meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am?
I'm Megan, I'm from here. I wanna piggyback off that, like, you can register for webinars online. I wonder if there's a way that people can chime in and like sign up to view city council meetings on the website and get like an invite password sent to them when they register, so that they have to register to be able to access like a live recording. That way they can chime in if they wanted to chime in.
You're talking about like a Zoom link kind of thing?
Yeah, basically. That way, if anybody can't make it, they can still see what's going on live.
Yeah. You'd need to have a moderator, but yeah, for sure. That'd be a great idea.
And where do you post this?
I put this, I have a YouTube, it's called @Morton City Council.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
No? All right. A motion to adjourn the meeting? Second, we got a second? All in favor? Aye. I get one again. I'm so confused, I don't know.
Peace out, Morton.